Hello there, glad to have you tune in to Africa News 24 TV at this hour for news and update on events happening around the world. I'm Timothy Crown at Derby. Let's take the highlights first. Governor of Adamawa State Ahmadu FINTIRI imposes 24-hour curfew on Lamode Council over renewed communal attack. Police team enforcing withdrawal of VIP escorts arrive ANAMBRA. Court rejects KANU'S request to be transferred from SOKOTO Correctional Center. We begin in ADAMAWA State, where the Governor Ahmadu FINTIRI has imposed a 24-hour curfew on Lamode local government area of the state with immediate effect. This was contained in a statement by the spokesperson of the governor, who said the decision was made following a renewed communal attack which resurfaced Sunday evening in the area. It was gathered that heavily armed Chobo-speaking tribal militia from neighboring Gombe State joined their counterparts in Adamawa State and allegedly launched coordinated assault on Bachama communities in Lamode local government area, leaving dozens dead. Residents disclosed that the assailants advanced from the creeks bordering Gombe and overran several communities from the western axis, sacking Tingno, Weduku, and 2 other villages. The government assured residents of security, saying security agencies have already been directed to restore law and order in the local government area with immediate effect. The Adamawa State government also appealed to residents to maintain peace and calm in the area. Still on security, the federal government has been advised to reject any call or pressure to negotiate with abductors and gunmen in any part of the country. The call came from some Christian faithful during a service organized to honor the memory of those killed in different attacks in the country. Our next report tells more.
These Christian faithful in Abuja gather for a service, but unlike their regular, this is to honor the memory of every victim in different attacks by assailants, as Nigerian security situation assumes a challenging mode. The service also caters for those kidnapped and those displaced by many attacks, particularly in the northern part of the country.
It's really a very sad day, which is expressed in our dress code. I mean, last Sunday we were all happy and singing and thanking God for what He has done for us this year. And this Sunday, we decided to cry with those who are crying in the bush, those who are displaced from their homes and their ancestral homes, those who are killed and murdered in cold blood. We cry for those whose lives have been wasted without justice.
We are in the atmosphere of mourning. We've lost so many brothers and sisters. Personally, for me, I don't really have somebody close to me that has been kidnapped. But I feel so sad for people, especially those in the north, that has been kidnapped.
Beyond the grief lay a broader call for justice. The congregants asked government to strengthen and properly equip the security forces.
And we cannot allow evil to be running on rampage without justice. We have to call them to order. We know where these people are. And then the entire idea of negotiating with them is really very absurd and annoying. How can you negotiate with evil people? Till date, none has been called to book. None have been taken to a law court. None have been jailed for all of this evil. And our cry for our government is that they should stop right and do what needs to be done.
Government should give the force, like the militaries, enough equipment, because according to news we've been hearing, they say you don't give them enough equipment to fight the battle. They give them low ammunitions, small ammunitions to fight the battles, and they don't encourage them with their salaries to pay. They don't pay their salaries. So most of the force, the guys, military guys, they are not like enthusiastic to do what they're supposed to do. So the government should fund the military. They should encourage them to fight for their people.
Beyond the service itself, this faithful used the gathering to call for greater national unity and communal engagement. They emphasize that Nigeria does not belong to only one group, but rather it belongs to all, and appeal for collective actions to support the displaced families, helping victims rebuild, and pressuring the authorities to prioritize human lives over politics.
Meanwhile, a special enforcement team from the Nigeria Police Force has arrived in Anambra State to implement the nationwide directive withdrawing police officers from VIP escort and guard duties. The deployment confirmed today by the Commissioner of Police in Anambra State, Ikoye Orutugu, is part of a broader reform effort ordered by President Bola TINUBU to return personnel to core policing roles. Orutugu reaffirmed the command's commitment to supporting the IGP's reform efforts aimed at enhancing professionalism, discipline, and optimal deployment of police manpower nationwide. He noted that the team is working with area commanders, divisional police officers, and tactical units to ensure full compliance. Following this development, the police authorities have warned that any officer still escorting VIPs without approval risks arrest, insisting that the measure is aimed at strengthening public security and improving manpower availability across states. From security to the court, where the Federal High Court in Abuja today declined to grant a motion ex parte filed by the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, NNAMDI Kanu. Kanu was convicted on terrorism offenses. Is seeking an order compelling the complainant, that is the federal government and or the Nigerian Correctional Service, to forthwith transfer him from the SOKOTO Correctional Facility to a custodial facility within jurisdiction of Abuja High Court. Kanu sought an order transferring him to the court's immediate environs, such as the Suleja or the Kefi Custodial Center, for the purpose of enabling him to effectively prosecute his constitutionally guaranteed right of appeal. Justice James Omotosho held that Kanu's application, moved by a lawyer from the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria, Demdo Hassan, cannot be granted through ex parte motion. Justice Omotosho held that the respondent, the federal government, and the Nigerian Correctional Services ought to be put on notice for them to respond appropriately in the interest of justice before the request could be granted. The judge thereafter adjourned the case until January the 27th, 2026 to enable the applicant to serve the necessary parties and for the application to be taken. Staying in the northwest, the Kano State government has raised strong concerns over the arrest of the lead prosecutor handling the corruption case involving former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje, describing the development as a serious threat to the integrity of the ongoing trial. State officials said the prosecutor was picked up by federal operatives under unclear circumstances. We have more in this report.
The Kano State government says the arrest of its lead prosecutor in the Ganduje corruption case represents what it calls an unnecessary disruption capable of weakening effort to ensure accountability. The prosecutor was taken into custody by federal security officers, prompting the state to demand full explanations from the relevant agencies. Speaking to journalists in Kano, the Attorney General of the state, Abdul Karim Malde, said the government has formally queried federal authorities, insisting that the detention must be justified with clear evidence.
A political light must be firmly rejected. Accordingly, the government of Kano State hereby demands the following. Number one, demands strict compliance with the constitutional provision, due process, and human rights standards in all action concerning the former chairman of FAC, Mr. Muhi Magachiri Munkado. Calls on the Nigerian police force to immediately and publicly clarify the legal basis of the arrest and the transfer to Abuja.
The state government alleges that the arrest has heightened political tensions across the state, with civil society groups and legal analysts warning that the development could erode public trust in the justice system. They argue that any interference in the prosecution of a high-profile corruption case sends the wrong signal about accountability and transparency. The Kano State government.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has commissioned world-class logistics facilities developed by TY Logistics Park FZ at Alaro City in the Lekki Free Zone. The project is expected to transform supply chain operations and deepen investment confidence in Nigeria. Lydia Ajay has a full report.
TY Logistics Park FZ has unveiled state-of-the-art logistics facilities in Alaro City, Lagos, marking a major boost for Nigeria's supply chain sector. Chairman of the park, Theo Danjuma Jr., said the 29,000 square meter development fulfills TY Holdings' vision to build a modern, technology-driven logistics hub for Nigeria and West Africa.
Beyond contract logistics, our wider group capabilities enable us to provide true end-to-end supply chain solutions, from clearing and forwarding, compliance management, import-export processing, to complex inventory management, value-added services, and route-to-market distribution.
Governor of Taraba State, Dr. Abu Kefas, described the project as a deliberate effort to drive national development and strengthen economic collaboration between Taraba and Lagos.
This is not a coincidence, it's a deliberate effort to see that business flourish in Nigeria.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu commended TY Holdings for demonstrating strong corporate responsibility and confidence in Lagos investment climate.
We want to give you those commitments again, that we will continue to push more, we will continue to ensure that we listen more to you, we will continue to ensure you that we work with you as our business partners, as our investing public, and we'll create that environment where you can make very informed, well thought out business decision that will take this country and this state forward.
The commissioning attracted traditional rulers, diplomats, and industry leaders who expressed optimism that the new park will enhance trade efficiency and attract further investment into the country. Lydia Ajayi, Africa News 24 TV.
Nigeria and Japan are strengthening their partnership in the health sector as Health Minister Alipate meets with his Japanese counterpart to advance cooperation on key healthcare priorities. We have more in this report. Some youth under the aegis of the Youth-Led Electoral Reform Project Consortium have called on the National Assembly to approve key amendments to the 1999 Constitution and the Electoral Act. According to the youth, the reforms would widen political participation and enhance transparency. Our next report captures more.
These members of the Youth-Led Electoral Reform Project Consortium are asking the National Assembly to support proposed amendments to the 1999 Constitution and the Electoral Act, which they are certain will make Nigeria's electoral process more inclusive and transparent. The youth emphasized the importance of timely and mandatory electronic transmission of election results to enhance transparency and public trust in the Electoral Commission.
This is also not to say that we are discarding the manual process, cost of control. But what we're saying is that if the commission or the law provides that the commission keeps the two process, I think that is fine. We are okay with that. But we are saying that for transparency and to also even help the Electoral Commission in terms of their public image and the trust that Nigerians have.
The youth allege the disqualification of many qualified citizens, particularly youths, are excluded from elections due to expensive and often violent party primaries.
Currently, many qualified citizens, especially youths, are excluded from the electoral process because they are unable to compete in political party primaries, which are traditionally very expensive and in many cases violent. These primaries are also skewed against youth and other marginalized groups like women and persons with disabilities because the lack of fair competition due to the absence of internal party democracy within most political parties.
As the National Assembly progresses into voting on the constitutional amendment proposals and amendments to the Electoral Act in the coming days, the Nigeria Consortium urges lawmakers to approach these decisions with diligence, patriotism, and a commitment to the national interest.
The constitutional review includes proposals for independent candidacy, reserved legislative seats for women, local government autonomy, and the establishment of Electoral Offences Commission. Youth groups say the timely adoption of these reforms is crucial ahead of the 2027 elections.
Earlier we told you about the collaboration
These
between
members
Nigeria
of the
and
youth
Japan, how the Minister of Health, Alipate, met with his Japanese counterpart to advance cooperation on healthcare priorities. We now bring you the report to that story.
Nigeria is calling for stronger citizen involvement in healthcare decision-making as global leaders meet in Tokyo to push forward universal health coverage. At the high-level forum, Health Minister Alipate said active public participation is central to Nigeria's ongoing health reforms. He appeared alongside World Bank President Ajay Banga and commended Nigeria's push for local production of medical supplies, noting that domestic manufacturing can strengthen health systems, lower costs, and improve access.
And local governments are working hand in hand. We've mobilized significant domestic investments, complemented by some of the external partners that have come in to provide technical support, but also financial support to achieve Nigeria's objective of improving the health and well-being of its population. We met the Minister of Health of Japan, who expressed deep appreciation for the collaboration between Nigeria and Japan over time in areas of health security, for public health as well as in health system development. We are in advanced conversations for the government of Japan to step up in terms of their participation in the health sector renewal investment initiative.
The forum brought together health and finance ministers from around the world and concluded with signing of a global impact. The agreement establishes a new knowledge hub to support collaboration between ministries, align policies, and accelerate progress towards universal, high-quality healthcare.
From the newsroom to classrooms, AI is redefining how information is gathered, processed, and delivered. In Abuja, participants from more than 100 tertiary institutions converged to examine how emerging technologies are reshaping modern reporting. We have more in our next report.
Reshaping industries across the globe, media professionals say journalism is already experiencing profound transformation. Experts note that AI is altering newsroom operations, expanding research capacity, and enhancing the speed and accuracy of information gathering. At a gathering of participants from more than 100 tertiary institutions in Abuja, stakeholders urged young journalists to embrace AI as a tool for empowerment rather than a threat. According to them, the future of journalism may be powered by advanced technologies, but its direction will continue to be defined by human courage, integrity, and purpose.
So when people tell you that AI is going to take over a lot of jobs, it's going to take over your job, it's not going to take over journalism. Because based on the definition of how AI works, what it does is it gathers data.
The highlight of the event was the presentation of awards to outstanding young reporters, including those documenting conflict and resilience in the Northeast.
But technology alone does not make a journalist. Integrity, professionalism, and responsibility define your craft.
Recipients described the recognition as not just a personal achievement, but an amplification for the voices of survivors whose stories often go unheard.
Telling the story of survivors and victims of Boko Haram insurgency in the Northeast is an amplification of those voices, those people who are very resilient in terms of adapting, not only adapting but thriving despite the unimaginable difficulties we went through over this year.
For many of the young journalists present, the night reaffirms their commitment to credible reporting as AI continues to evolve. They commit to take responsibility to drive positive change in societies.
Let's go on a quick break now. When we return, we'll be telling you the latest in the battle between Paramount, Skydance, and Netflix. That's on business. Please don't go away. Welcome back. Glad to know you're still with us. And in business, Paramount Skydance has launched a hostile $108.4 billion takeover bid for Warner Bros. Discovery, escalating a high-stake battle that intensified just days after Netflix secured a $72 billion agreement to acquire the company's film, television, and streaming assets. The fresh bid dramatically reshapes the takeover landscape, coming as Netflix offer faces a potential $5.8 billion breakup fee and heightened antitrust concerns. Scrutiny further amplified after U.S. President Donald Trump publicly questioned the merger. The development has drawn swift reactions from lawmakers and Hollywood unions who warn that either acquisition could lead to sweeping job losses and increased costs for consumers amid deepening consolidation in the entertainment industry. The move, however, may encounter similar regulatory resistance as a merger between Paramount and Warner Bros. Could create one of the most dominant studios in global media. Back home, Nigeria's banks are shifting strategy as the foreign exchange gains of recent years fade. Analysts at Meristem Securities say lenders are now turning to non-interest income like fees, commissions, and digital transactions to replace shrinking Forex windfalls. The Forex boom followed President Tinubu's 2023 market harmonization, but with normalization and windfall taxes now in place, banks are seeing slower earnings growth. Meristem notes that interest income will still drive performance, helped by high rates and cheaper borrowing from the Central Bank of Nigeria. But several banks, including UBA, Access, and Wema, have reported sharp drops in Forex revaluation gains. The World Health Organization has condemned a deadly drone attack on a kindergarten and hospital in Sudan South Kordofa region, which killed 114 people, including 63 children. The strike hit the town of Kalogi, with health workers reporting that responders were also targeted while trying to rescue the wounded. The attack has been blamed on the rapid support forces by both the Sudanese Army and the Sudan Doctors Network, although the RSF has issued no comment. In a separate development, the RSF says it has taken control of the Eglig oil field, the country's largest. Sources told Reuters that government troops and oil workers have withdrawn into South Sudan to protect the facilities. WHO Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus called the Kalogi attack senseless and urged an immediate end to the violence, warning that Sudanese civilians have suffered far too much. And to Cote d'Ivoire, where the incumbent president Alassane Ouattara has been sworn in for the fourth time after taking over 89% of the vote in an October election marked by low turnout and unrest. The ceremony held at the presidential palace in Abidjan was attended by leaders from 11 African countries, former heads of state and representatives from France and the United States. During the ceremony, Ouattara pledged that his new term will focus on generational transition, signaling plans to gradually hand over responsibilities to younger political leaders. The 83-year-old was re-elected on October the 25th, 2025, with nearly 90% of the vote. From the ballot, sparking concerns about the competitiveness and legitimacy of the election. Welcome to sports. Nigeria's pre-AFCON build-up has taken a slight turn following a new FIFA release date regulation for players. The rule allowing clubs to keep their players until December the 15th has forced the Nigeria Football Federation to push the Super Eagles friendly against Egypt from December the 14th to December the 16th. NFF Director of Communications Ademola Olajire confirmed the update in a statement today. He said the match will now be played at Cairo Stadium at 8 p.m. local time, that is in Nigeria 7 p.m. It will serve strictly as a practice encounter. The adjustment also means both sides can make more than 5 substitutions during the warm-up game as they fine-tune ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. For the tournament itself, Nigeria will compete in Group C alongside Tunisia, Uganda and Tanzania. The Super Eagles kick off their campaign in December the 23rd in Fez, then meet Tunisia on December the 27th and Uganda on December the 30th, both also in Fez. Meanwhile, 7-time champions Egypt are drawn into Group B with South Africa, Angola and Zimbabwe as they prepare for their matches at Stade. Moving on, uncertainty surrounds Mohamed Salah's involvement in Liverpool's Champions League trip to Inter Milan as the club continues internal discussions following the forward's recent public outburst. Salah's strong remark about his reduced playing time have prompted concern within the club, raising the possibility that he may be left out of the travelling squad. Reports indicated that Liverpool are weighing their options with a final decision expected before the team departs for Italy later today. Manager Arne Slot is scheduled to meet the media this afternoon and is expected to address the situation directly. The episode has drawn reaction across the football world, with analysts warning that Salah's comments risk unsettling the dressing room and adding pressure on Slot during a crucial period for the team. Liverpool are preparing for their trip to the San Siro, but as of now, it remains unclear whether Salah will be part of the group making the journey. On the entertainment scene, Funke Akindele's much-awaited film BTS is making waves after his Nigeria premiere yesterday, and fans can't stop talking. Many are wowed by the futuristic invite technology, a special tab that opens to review the premiere invitation, giving guests a premium next-level experience. People online are calling it another dimension and praising the creativity behind it. But not everyone is happy. Some fans are questioning why the London premiere came before the Nigerian audience, feeling that home fans should have been first in the line for the excitement. At the event, Funke reminded attendees not to post clips online, saying she invested over ₦1 billion into the film and wants the viewers to enjoy it fully at the cinemas. Her message has sparked conversations about supporting Nollywood and respecting big projects. Fans are taking to social media to share reactions. Some are obsessed with the techie invite. Others are praising the film's visuals and storytelling. And a few are debating the premiere order. In other news, reactions have continued to trail the announcement by TikTok to temporarily disable its late-night live streaming features for users in Nigeria. The latest is coming from nightlife entertainer and digital personality Habib Hamzat, popularly known as Pella, who has openly criticized the restrictions. Pella described the guidelines as unfair to creators who depend on nighttime engagement to grow their audiences and earn revenue. He argued that TikTok should have engaged African content creators before implementing a regulation with such wide-reaching impact. According to him, the platform overlooked the unique cultural and creative patterns of users who generate their strongest content after dark. Pella further emphasized the economic importance of night-driven content, insisting the issue is not nighttime activity itself, but misuse by a small minority. That's where we draw the curtain at this hour. Thanks so much for tuning in on Africa News 24 TV. Follow us on all our social media platforms, and please check our website at africanews24.ng to stay informed and ahead. We'll catch you on our next broadcast. I'm Timothy Crown. Aderibigbe. It's bye for now.